So what you'll do is you'll read the radio, you'll get to here, you'll hit this, open up the trunking, then you go trunking system 1. You've keys have already been taken care of, so you're able to change stuff. You'll want to make sure this is disabled. You don't have to worry about this home WAN thing. It can be whatever. You have to put in 348 here. This will typically be 001 when you start out. You'll change that to 348 or whatever your system name is. And then you'll go over to 7800 control channels. In this particular system, there are 3 control channels. So those are 3 in there. What can get hectic is if it is a 700 megahertz system, there's a couple extra steps you have to do. As you can see, this is a 2 here. It'll default to 1. But when you put it in a 700 megahertz frequency, it'll red flag it. Anytime there's a red flag on anything in the CPS, it's not going to let you write. It'll let you save, but it'll yell at you, and it'll tell you got to fix it. So we'll put that back on 2. What you have to do extra step for 700 megahertz is Astro 25 channel ID. You go over here. Typically, only the number 1 will be checked. You'll check the number 2. Number 1, by default, it'll say 12.5, a negative there, 45 split, 6.25, and the base frequency, 851.0065. What these do, really do I know, other than it tells the radio kind of what to do for the most part. If you mess up any of this, it'll screw everything up. So if it has 700 frequencies in the system that you're going to program, you're going to check this. This is obviously going to stay 12.5. This is going to change to a positive. Your split's going to change to 30. This is going to stay the same, and your base frequency is going to be different. It's going to be 762.0065. So once you do that, then you can go over to here, and then you plug in your control channels, whether it's a mixture of 800 or 700. This one just happens to be all 700. And then if it's a 700 frequency, and you've got this on 1 would be for 800. It's going to tell you right away, hey, there's an issue. So then you knowing that it's a 700, you got to click this, make it 2. Whoops, no, it's on 3. 2. But of course, it won't leave the red will not go away unless you've already done the work, which is come over here, put the 12 plus. So basically, the only reason I know this is because I had to read a different radio and learn off that. I had to cheat because no one could tell me that, hey, this is what that is. So I looked on another radio that was programmed working out properly. So we did that. And then, of course, there's 2 systems here, but don't ever try to do like 4 systems at a time. You start with 1 system. So since you're up in the Montgomery County area, that is system 2 in this radio. So always remember that system 2. Don't ever delete system 1 because it'll bump it up to system 1. If you delete 1, it'll move 2 up to 1, and everything will be unaligned. All the channel names that I put in here will all be jacked, and there's no way going back other than deleting everything and starting over fresh. So I know it's system 2. Of course, it's going to be 348 because it's still a state system here. And then you go over 700, 800. These are the 4 control channels for Montgomery County. As you see, they are 800 megahertz. You don't have to worry about transmitting anything. Obviously, we're not transmitting, but it does it automatically. You can't change the transmit, only receive. And you see, these are 1s because it's on 800 megahertz. Go over to Astro 25 ID. As you can see, I didn't care to put this 700 one in there because the system doesn't have 700. It just says 12.5, 45, etc. So that is our system that we're starting out. Now, we want to build a personality. As we know, as long as you keep these in line, it kind of keeps you. This personality 1 goes with system 1. So we're working on system 2. So we're going to take personality 2. Right here, this is going to default to 1. But, of course, you want it to be 2 because you're working on 2, system 2. Then you go over your talk groups. These are where you put your hex talk groups in. And you basically want to have like that cheat sheet that I had you make out because obviously you don't see any names next to them. So you'll put all your hexes you're going to put in this system. You put them all in. You close that out. And then you go down to zone. We're in zone 2. Again, system 2, zone 2. Makes sense. Try to make things as simple as possible. So what you'll want to do is this is where you start labeling. Start at channel 1. You label, 57 north, central, south, east, west, blah, blah, blah. You go all the way down to 16. Once you get to 16, obviously the radio only has 16 things it can click to, 16 channels. It doesn't have a 17, so you physically cannot get to channel 17. Let me turn that off in the background. I'll be right back. Now 17 here is where we're going to start putting the real channel in here. As you can see, it's got the hex. And when you start programming, you make sure your little cheat sheet that you know that north is E29B. You make sure as you're doing it, these line up, and they line up. And how you have to change this right here. This will say, you see how these say conventional? It'll always say conventional when you start out. How to add is up here in the top left. There'll probably be only one when you start out, but you'll click this 16 times to give you 16. Once you do that, then you click it 16 more times so that you'll have a total of 32 channel spots. So you'll leave these first 16 as conventional. And try to think how to make it easy for you. Because I have another system in here, we're starting at 6. Again, you just got to remember where you start at here. You won't be able to change these yet. You won't be able to put these numbers in it. And that's another step, and we have to come back to this window to change this. This will be 1. When you start out, you start adding these channels. It'll say conventional and it'll say 1 all the way down. No matter what, it'll always say that. And then you'll have to come back to it and change it once you go back into another spot. Here, you can go ahead and start putting, where we're at right now. You can put in 57 north, and this you have to change the trunking. And then remember, I said system 2, so you got to make sure you do system 2, trunking, system 2, and then because you have your little cheat sheet, trunking system 2, hex on your hex directory that we made. Number 1 is going to be E29B, and then you can go over here, label 57 north, and then central, change that to trunking 2, and it'll be 2, and then you just keep going down, boom, 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 in order, and all the way down. I think it was 32. I think so. 32. I've only went down to 29. You can see that's Centerville TAC 1 is the last one there, and then these here, the last 3 are kind of default or whatever. There's nothing there. It's just some random crap. So we'll do that. I got that in there. Now once you've labeled these, and these will just say all 1. So we got to make these be what they are now. So what you'll do is you go over to conventional. You open up conventional, open up personality, and then typically what you'll see here, before we get ahead of ourselves, it'll just be 5 conventional channels because the old system only had 5 channels. So we're starting with this system 2. So you just remember, all right, we're starting on 6. So 6, you'll click receive only because you don't want it to transmit, so it'll go doot. It won't let you transmit. And then let's see, 6. I'm trying to think how that works. So 6. I might even just do it. We'll just add a channel in here. Let's do that, so we don't get too far ahead of us because it starts confusing me too. There's a lot of steps. So let me get the cheat sheet real quick, and I'll do one. Let's see here. We'll put in Kettering Police. So,
Or Miamisburg.
Miamisburg?
Yeah.
All right. So Miamisburg. Well, that would be South Miamisburg.
Okay.
They have their own local channel though, but if you don't mind, we'll try
We'll do Kettering.
Kettering. Yeah. So what we'll do here is we're gonna go to our trunking personality 2, talk group, and it always the 1s just means it's an open spot. Always the hex, so it's gonna be E37 D David, and then always click over to the next one down so that it inputs it. If you go over here at close, it'll knock it back to 1. It's stupid, I know, but so E37D. We're gonna do a couple here, or we'll just do one. E37D. So that's in there, and then you're gonna go to zone 2, where we got our stuff at. Go down to the next spot here. We're gonna put KPD. Do caps lock. KPD. All right, we got KPD in there. All right. Yep. Oh, I see. I had already had it in line actually. So typically you'd have to change this to your next number, which was 14. And it's I'm checking here on my list E37D, and it says E37D. So we've got it correct. Now, obviously you can't get to this channel because your radio only does 16 channels. We're on channel 30. It's not physically possible to turn the dial to that channel. So what you do is you go over to, so that's 30, and then we go up to 14, yeah. So go up to 14 here, and we're going to label it KPD. Click over the next one so it makes it. And then as you can see, it says 1 here. That's the default. Now what we need to do is go to the conventional here. Conventional. And you click add. Click receive only. And then, let's see here, got that. Okay, now it's made, now that's 20. You see the number 20 here? This is conventional 20. You click close. Go back to your zone 2. And go to the 14, channel 14, because you can physically get to that. And you're going to take this. And as long as you're doing one at a time, it'll be the last one, 20. So 20. And then what you do is you go, the next step is, where's it at? Scan. You're looking for scan. So we got scan. Click scan, make it bigger. Of course, you're adding one more. You want to change conventional to talk group. You're going to make this system 2 because it's what system we're working on, system 2. Mess it up, it won't work. And you're going to want this to be select channel because talkback will actually let you transmit back. That'd be a bad idea. So select channel. And then you go over to list. This is the zone it's in. So it's in zone 2. Obviously, you see that's red. That means I need to do something here. So this is going to be, will it be the last one? No, it'd be like the third last. There it is, KPD. See, it's kind of nice that they put it there. I guess they didn't have to let you know what channel is what. But let you know KPD in there. And then, what else we got to do? Then we got to go to, so that's scan list 19. We're on scan list 19, remember that. Then you go back to your conventional. Go over to scan. Change that to 19. Automatic scan, gotta click it. And that is done. And that's just for one channel. You can see how confusing that can get just for one channel, how many steps it takes to be able to do that. Oh, the only other thing that you have to do, once you get started, obviously you're not gonna have to do it because I've made the system for you. We're back in, I know I moved real quick, but under trunking system, you go to trunking system. On each system you make, you gotta go to Astro 25 here, and this will be checked. You want to uncheck it. So we'll go back to 1. This is the system 1. It's unchecked. Go to 2. It's unchecked. Always make sure it's unchecked. That is telling it not to affiliate. That's one of the steps to make it not affiliate. The next step to make sure it doesn't affiliate is to make it so that you can't physically get to the real channel in the radio. Because if you get to the real channel, it will affiliate. So if we go back to the zone here, we'll look at it. And you can see this says 57 north. It's actually on conventional 6. So even if we didn't make that radio not transmit on conventional 6, which we have, it would not transmit on the trunking system. It would transmit on some random frequency that conventional 6 is. The other thing that I do too to keep down interference issues is, this would be another step that you'd want to kind of do, is you go down to KPD here in the zone, and it says 8683. That's already been changed. I changed it. You want to change it to some frequency, probably in the 860 mode, because no one uses 8683. You don't want that to be any interference. And you go over here to the next thing over the frequency. This will be, typically it'll say carrier squelch CSQ. You want to change it to DPL, so that when you're sitting on this KPD channel and you're only wanting to listen to KPD, technically if someone knew this channel 868.3 with the DPL of 023, they could mess with you all day, and of course you can't transmit back because we've turned off the transmitter on this particular conventional channel. So you want to pick a channel that's not going to have any interference, and that DPL code should pretty well assure that you're not going to have any interference. So basically, in layman's term, how this thing works is you're laying your radio on KPD's channel here on conventional. So you're on here, and this is what you see on the screen when it's no one's talking. And then when someone talks, it's always on scan. The radio is always scanning, and it's only scanning one channel when you're physically on this channel. It's only scanning KPD. And what I mean by scanning, when you're on this channel, you're technically on this channel down here, the real one. So when the real one talks, it'll flip over to here, and you'll hear it, vice versa. So you'll hear it. If you want to hear multiple channels, So what you do is you go to your scan list here. Where's it at? Scan list 20. Go over here, and if you wanted to hear multiple channels, they have to all be in the same system. You can't do multiple systems. That becomes a more complicated task. So you could put like 29 or something, and right there you could. And that way, when you're physically on that KPD channel, it'll be scanning KPD and Centerville TAC 1. Of course, that can be confusing. So I only do, for each individual channel, I make it scan itself, basically. And then what I will do, we go back to zone 2 here. And go down to, where's that at? Trying to think where I labeled it at. 57. Let's see. It's got to be somewhere here. Did I do it? I thought I did. Here we go. You can label whatever you want it to be, but this one says 58 scan. I probably should have put a space between the scan, but whatever. 57 scan, and it says conventional 19. So we go over to conventional 19. We're kind of going backwards now, checking things out. And you go, we're on conventional 19. As you see, it's receive only. That's checked. You go over to scan. It's saying, hey, this is connected with scan list 18. You can see automatic scans checked. So we're going to scan list, wherever the scan is. Where's it at? Further down. Oh, yeah. Was it scan list? What was it? 18? So we're at scan list 18. You can use these arrows to go to it. It makes it easier. And then you hit list. And as you can see, when you're scanning, when you're on that particular channel, you're physically on that one where it says 57 scan. 57's the county number. That's why I labeled it 57. So 57 scan, when you're on that, you're listening to north, south, east, west, RDC 1, 57, the sheriff car-to-car channel, Centerville, and TAC 1 for Centerville. So that's what you would hear on that. The only ability to alter this is, say if Centerville is talking too much and you only want to hear the other stuff, you could hit through the keypad, you can hit nuisance delete, and it'll knock off whatever channel's talking at the time. The only other way to get that channel back is to turn the radio off, turn it back on, and then you'll be back with your fresh. I think it'll scan up to, is it 10? Yeah, it only does 10. So you can only scan, no matter what, you can scan 10 channels at a time. That's it, period. Some of the Motorola radios do like 12, right? But this one looks like it only does 10. But that nuisance delete would come in handy, especially when you got north, south, east, west. This is going to be a busy radio, listen to all that, and then you got Centerville on top of that. So if they start talking about a shovel or something, and you're like, I'm no way done, I don't want to hear it anymore, you just hit nuisance delete. Then we don't have to do anything else special, just hit nuisance delete right on the keypad, and you would no longer hear that channel until you turn the radio off and back on. Or the other way would be, say there's a pursuit, and you're on that channel, and you're scanning, and you hear a pursuit on 57 North, and then all of a sudden South starts talking. Obviously, they're not talking about the pursuit, and you're kind of like, well, I want to hear the pursuit. So what you do is you physically turn your knob. We'll go back down to the zone and make it a visual thing here. You turn your knob, you go from being on the 57 scan, which you're scanning most of the Montgomery County system that you want to hear, you physically turn to channel 1, which is 57 North, and you'll only hear 57 North. Let me plug my computer in. So, well, we did KPD, so we can do
Let's do Centerville Fire.
Centerville Fire. Okay, so we're gonna do we'll call it SVFD, Centerville Fire Department. You can change, you label stuff whatever you want it to be. So let's see here. This, of course, I've already filled it out because obviously I know all the way down. No matter what, it's always gonna be System 2. So what I've already done, because normally when you hit add, it'll always say 1, it'll say conventional, so you'd have to automatically change this to trunking, and then System 2, and then you just follow this in line. Once you get this going, it should be one after another. So obviously that's 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down. The last one we did, which was KPD, which was 14. The next one's gonna be 50. Of course, I've already made it 15. The next one I made 16. Oops, go back. So we're gonna put Centerville Fire. Now I just gotta find where the hex is here. Centerville. Dispatch, please. Well, Centerville doesn't have a fire. Washington Township does.
That's what I meant. Washington.
Yeah, I don't remember. So Washington Township. Now is Washington Township dispatch on their own channel still, or they dispatch on the county?
I think it's a talk group.
But of their own.
Yeah.
I don't see it here. Valley, Myers, Centerville, Police. It's not Regional Dispatch Center that dispatches for them. I think they went to Regional Dispatch, but I could be wrong. Brookville, County Fire Dispatch 1. Well, Washington Township Fire, here we go.
So I know we always see them dispatch under County Fire Dispatch 2,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we know that, because it's ladder 41
Mm-hmm.
by the house.
Okay.
So maybe that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, so that's where you get your dispatches at.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's maybe what we're looking for. So they used to have their own dispatcher for years. I'm pretty sure Wayne told me about a year ago they switched to county. So county dispatches them. I don't know what they use their dispatch channel for. It may just be a local talk around or whatever. But so they dispatch off of this. So it's E2. What? Sorry, wrong. I did something wrong. So we're going to change this to let's see, 57.
Wait, that's the channel name.
Yeah.
Okay.
FD, or just call Fire 1. We'll call Fire 1. Fire, or Fire 2 rather. We'll put Fire 1 and 2 in here. Because if they are toned on Fire 2, they probably answer on Fire 1. Because that's how it's supposed to be done there, is that this is paging only. And that way, if someone's talking on the radio, it doesn't interfere because they're only paging on 2, and you talk to dispatch on 1. Get your page on 2, talk to dispatch on 1. So we'll put 2 in this time. So let's see, Fire 1 and 2. So we got that in there, and then we're gonna go up to the top here. It'll let me scroll. Hold on, we're kind of limited here. We're running out of space. Yeah. So my 57 scan obviously takes up a spot. So we only have one spot open. So what we're gonna do is, if I sometimes label it open, which means that it's just open for later. We're gonna put, we're gonna do another zone here, which is kind of helping for your video, seeing what we're doing. Normally you'd have to click add zone, which is down here on this. This is adding or deleting a zone. I've already added this zone here, and then you can label the zone whatever you want it to be. I typically do a Z3. Sometimes they'll do it by default, make the zone 3. And then, as you can see, it's conventional 1. You just do this 16 times. And then, okay, that would typically what a real radio would look like. It only has 60 channels, but we're doing it our scan way, so we're going to do 16 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16. Okay. And then, oops. Our first one is going to be Fire 1. And then Fire 2. And then we're going to go to trunking, talk group. And then, of course, if you need to add, if there's not more of these, you just click this top left one here. We're going to do E2A7. And then our second one we're doing, because we're doing E2A8. E2A8. Sometimes you can easily mess these things up. If you're dyslexic or whatever, just fat finger it sometimes. Alright, so we did that. And then we want to go back to 2. Back down to the row 1, which was 3 actually. We moved it to 3. Change this to trunking. And I want to trunking. You can hear it beep at you. Don't worry about that. It beeps at you. And then we're personality 2. Yeah, personality 2. And then it's going to be the last 2. So 15 and 16. And we'll check. This is the part where you'd want to check. You see Fire 1, E2A7, E2A7, Fire 2, E2A8. Yep. So we're good there. And then, so it's going to be the last 2. So we're going to go down 16, 17. 17, we're going to tape in Fire 1. 18 fire 2. Now we need to go to conventional and add and hit receive only, and well, add 2 because we're doing 2. So receive only, and then close it out. Go down to scan. You're gonna add 2. Go back 1. Just working on the first one. Talk group. Changes to 2 because we're on system 2. Talk back. You want it to be fixed. Select a channel. And you go to your list. You're gonna go to 3 because it's in zone 3. So you, but you don't want it to be. You notice how it's the low number. This is the one thing that messed me up a couple times. You'll see it if you're going like 1, 2, 3 in a row. You're like, oh, I got it. Well, no, this is the simplex, so you wouldn't hear it. You want to go down to 17, and you'll notice nothing changed. See? And then go back 3, and we're gonna make this. Trying to think how would I do this? Yeah, we'll do that. So 18. All right, so this here is fire 1. So when you put your radio on fire 1, you're going to hear fire 1 and 2, which makes sense because if you're sitting on fire 1, you want to be able to hear the ambulance or the fire truck responding, but you also want to hear the next calls, like the next call coming in. So if you're on fire 1, you're going to hear the paging and you're going to hear the guy answering back. So it's going to bounce between fire 1 and 2. And then on what I'll do on fire on the next one here, we're going to go to the next channel, and this will be 3, and this will be 17. Or make this actually 18, and this will be fire 2. So when your radio is physically on fire channel 2, you only hear the paging. So if there's a time where you only want to hear paging, you only hear paging. But if you want to hear the dispatcher and paging, you just be on fire 1. You just have to know that knowledge. There's another way you can check it through the keypad. If you physically put the radio on whatever channel you want to put it on, you can go in there, hit view, scan, and then you hit the over button. It'll tell you what's in the scan list. So if you're never sure what's in the scan list, that's what you can do. So like on the channels we've labeled as like 57 scan, you put your channel on that 57 scan, and then you can hit view, scan, and hit the over button. It'll go through all the channels that it's scanning.
Can we add fire 1 and 2 to 57 scan?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We can do that.
Okay.
So we just have to go back and we'll finish this and we'll go back to that.
Okay.
So we've done that. So this is 21 and 22. Now we need to go back to conventional. 21 is going to be scan list. The last 2, of course. 20 automatic scan. Next up. 21. Did I do that right? 20. Yep. Gotta make automatic scan. Yep. Close this, and then go to scan. And then run zone 3. And I did this wrong up here. This would have to be conventional. My bad. So conventional. What number was that? Last 2 would be 21 and 22. So that's where I messed up. 21 and 22. So we'll go over to 3 again. So this would be 21, and this would be 22. Alright, so that's fire 21, 22. And then obviously see this is 8510625. You want to definitely change that to like 8683. That seems to be no issue. I always put 868.3. Put whatever you want really. I missed the dot. 868.3. And then because we got 2 channels in there, you gotta do it again. 868.3. Boom, boom. And then, oh, come on, it hates me. 868.3. Okay, and then you want to change the carrier squelch to DPL. Oh, come on, don't hate me. DPL. All right, so 21, 22, and then that'll reference these. Yeah. Okay, now I gotta go over here. Trunking. Change this to trunking. 21. So this would be 2, and the last 2. 15, 16. Why did I do that? 50, 60. So there it is. It matches up. See where I accidentally put it up here in the top? You never want to put the hex at the top. It's always got to be past 17. I don't know why I did it that way, but my bad. So fire 1, fire 2, right there. And then I'm going to go back and make sure everything. See, it's got an issue with the scan list. See that red? We'll go back. See that red check? It lets you know there's something wrong. So I can fix it. We'll figure out what it is. There, right there. I didn't change that to talk group. And then we'll go back to the list. I don't know what the problem is here. Fire. Why is it saying it's not like it? 18.
21 and 22.
I don't know why it doesn't like it. We're in zone 3.
Channel 21 and 22, or no?
No, it's not 21 or 22 because it would show it on there. Let me see where I messed up here. I messed up somewhere. So it's so easy to mess up. So this is talk group. Oh, is it 20 and 21? Is that where I messed up? Maybe. This is 2, and that's got to be 2. So that's right. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah. So we'll go back up to wherever it was. Where the heck was this at? Probably the last 2. Oh. Well, crap. Let me go look. I'm guessing. Let's see here. We are trying. Oh, we're on 3. So we're on 3. We're trying to find this channel right here, which is zone 3, channel 17. So back to channel 21, 2, talk group, 3. Oh, that's why. So we gotta go up to 7. This is gonna be 18. 18. There we go. Fire 2, and then go back 1. Is that 21? 22? 22, 21. Yeah. Okay. There we go. And this is 3. 18, 17, 18, that is correct, okay. So the issue was I didn't pick the right system. I somehow forgot that. It was still on 1, so it's on 2. And then we wanted to go to here. 57, what number was it here? 57 scan, 19. So we're going to go to 19, and that's, no, that ain't it. That's not right. Oh, no, don't delete. Go back to 2. Try. I'm going back to add to your scan list for 57, so that you can listen to Fire 1 and 2. So it is 57 scan, which is conventional 19. Okay, I know what I'm doing. Conventional 19. Gotta go here, or is that scan list? That's scan list. We go to conventional 19. That's what I'm messing up. Conventional 19, and then you need to know what that number is, which is 18. And then you go back down here, and then 18, and you'll see this has all this listed. And you go to 3 because it's in zone 3, which is 1. Nope, always the higher number. So it's gonna be 17. And 3, 18. There we go. Always in the scan list. Anytime in the scan list, it's got to be a number. This number is going to be higher than 17. If it's not, even though this may look correct, if the number is lower than 17, it's going to be wrong. So it's always 17 or higher. So those are in there. So when you're on 57 scan, you'll listen to north, south, east, west, RDC 1. 57's Sheriff Car channel, Centerville Tag 1, Fire 1, Fire 2. And let's see here, what else do I want to do? Just double checking some stuff here. That's correct. Did I do that right? Yep, 21, 22. Or did I do that right? Scan list, 21, 22. Yeah, that's right, that's right. And then you can always make these bigger or smaller and get them out of the way, because sometimes if your radio is like full of stuff, like you spent like years programming it, this can go up to like 50 scan lists, 60 scan lists, 80 scan lists. So your list is going to be longer than what you can see here. So a lot of times it just minimizing that's going to bring a lot of your stuff back up. As you can see, it gets smaller and smaller. So far we put in, we've got this zone full. And it's even good sometimes, like right here you see where I've got 2 spots that say open. You may have 2 channels on a particular organization, whether police or whatever, and it'll fill in those 2 spots, which would be great because you have 2 open spots, and I labeled them open, so that's why they say open. But, you know, if you put Kettering here, Kettering uses TAC 1 and Channel B. They have this channel they call Channel B. So obviously, if you were to put Kettering here, you put like Kettering, you know, Police Main here, you probably put KPDB and then KPD TAC 1. But if you want to put KPD's TAC 2 in here, you'd have to put it in a different zone, which you don't want to do that with a department like North, South, East, West, because or you know TAC 1, 2, 3, 4. Because if they're on like TAC 1 and they say go to TAC 2, you don't want to have to pull out your radio and be changing zones and trying to figure out where the frig that channel is. You just want to be able to turn the knob real quick and you're there. Otherwise, you'll miss the whole conversation. So typically, you try to keep your main stuff you listen to all in that one zone, which is zone 2 here. Zone 1 has this local county here and here, which is only 4 channels. So if you ever come down here again, you can listen, or on your way home, you can listen to it. Once you leave this area, because this is set up in receive only, it will not roam. It doesn't roam. Montgomery County's radios, even the real radios on the system, they don't roam either. Their system's set up not to roam. Even though it's marks and it's supposed to roam throughout the state, none of their channels roam. It's set up that way. They only roam in the county, and that's it. They won't roam over to Warren or anything like that. Warren County's the same way. Trying to think, there's a handful of them. I think the reason why, at least what I was told, is that they talk too darn much. And if they allowed, say, Dayton has, you know, like 300 officers, that's 300 radios. Imagine if you lived in Warren County, I lived in, you know, say Adams County, and I drive home every day. I might leave my radio on for a couple hours. Now I'm using a tower here in this county, and I'm broadcasting traffic from up in Dayton onto this tower. And then the other guy, like you live in another county, you're broadcasting that traffic onto another tower in another county. You can see where if you have 300 radios, imagine if they were all over the place in Ohio, and they had them on that, like a busy channel like Dayton East or North or South or Central, whatever. It would lock up the system. You know, it'd use a lot of talk channels. There's only so many talk channels. Trying to show you how many talk channels there are. I don't know if anybody ever explained that to you. So like here, this is your data channel. That's all you have to enter in when we go into making the system here. You go to nope, that's conventional. We go to trunking. Where's that? Trunking. There it is. System, and we'll do 1 or do 2. So here, you only have to put in your control channels in there, and then so it can be the red. That's the red one you definitely want to put in. This one here, just in case for whatever reason they have to change it, it's going to change to the default or the secondary one, which is going to be the blue one here. So these are the only 2 you need to put in there. You don't need to put all these black ones in here. These black ones are just voice. So the data channel, what it's telling, it's doing a lot of things. But one of the things it's telling is when you turn your radio on and you're receiving radio traffic, it's saying, all right, these people are talking and they're using this channel. And then that'll drop out. And then even though you're still in the same talk group, a person keys up to say they're replying to somebody, they may use this as a voice channel. They let go, and it may use this as a voice channel. And that data channel keeps everything together so that multiple people can talk. Here's an example. So there's one, and it'll use the alternate long as it's not being used as a data channel because this one's using data. Used to be the original Mark systems, a data channel would change every 24 hours. They found out that was a headache, so they just keep the data channels the same. And so this system, by definition, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, can only hold 15 conversations at a time. If I was number 16 and I keyed up, I would get the boop, and I'd have to wait my turn. The only other thing that they do on this system, or any of the Mark system throughout the state to make it work a little better, your radio, if you're a street department radio, the ID number they give you, it'll be in a sequence that the system knows you're a street department and you're not police or fire, and it'll keep you from. So if all these are locked up, say there's like this mass disaster and everybody and their brother's talking to everybody on the radio and they're on their own talk groups, you know, they're doing their thing, and then I'm talking about a shovel using this voice channel. I'm talking about a shovel to another street department guy on the street department channel. The system knows I'm on a street department channel, and then I'm a street department guy. I ain't the police, I ain't the fire. And then a policeman keys up, even though all these channels are busy, if a policeman keys up, it'll kill out my conversation. Boom. It prioritizes and gives that channel to the police. So, street department, this rarely would happen. I've only seen it happen twice. They had a big sonic boom back in 2005, I think it was, and it locked up the system. And they did a bunch of different changes. And one of the changes they did was doing the priorities where police and fire, public safety have the priority on the system, to where street department and like your water department stuff, they can use the system, but they're secondary.
So on Radio Reference, where it gives the control channels for the county, Montgomery County, what about the control channels that it listed for Dayton? I don't understand why it listed two.
So the Mark system is all one system per se, but another way they do to help out with this congestion on the system is this is Dayton with 700 frequencies. This is only the state. So State Highway Patrol, state wildlife, your private ambulances, ODOT, the road people, they're going to be using this. You'll never see them over here. But they're on this. If this system somehow went down, they can migrate over here. But the radio knows, the data channel knows that, hey, this is a state radio, so we're going to use the state control channel. Same thing for Dayton. If it is a Montgomery County Fire Department or Dayton Police or whatever, it's going to use this. It's never going to use this. So, that being said, you have to know when you're programming the radio, if you want to listen to State Patrol, you have to use this as your data channels. Not this. Only this. Don't put both in the same system. It won't work. It'll be all kinds of headache. So this system. So basically what I'm saying is, if you want to listen to anything in Montgomery County, like say Fire One, you want to listen to Fire One, you cannot scan the State Patrol because it's technically a different system. Even though they're both marks, they're independent of each other. They're the reason why they have two separate systems like this for a couple of reasons. If one goes down, the radio won't see the other one, so it'll push you over here, or vice versa. So if this went down, for wherever you lost power or whatever, you would be on here. If you lost power, you'd be on there. No, the user himself would not know any different. The other reason is there's private ambulances that come to town. ODOT's on here. State Patrol's on here. Any state agency that is not like Montgomery County based is going to be on the 700 frequencies. Okay? And when they key up the radio, they're going to use this. Anybody that's just Montgomery County, whether it's fire, police, street department, whatever it is, if they're Montgomery County people, they're going to be over here. So what I'm saying is, if this system gets somewhat congested, these guys over here are not interfering with these guys. These guys are not interfering with others because they're separate systems. Otherwise, if it was all on one system, say, because they could take these frequencies and put them up here and just make it all one system. Problem is, the system will get overworked, and there'll be a lot of congestion there and more chance of being denied when you talk.
Do I need to put this control channel in?
And so if you're listening to Fire 1, because that's Montgomery County Fire 1, you're going to put this control channel in there, and then there's alternatives. These blue ones got to go into.
Okay.
I've only seen it changed once in 5 years, where I can't remember what the control channel was before, but it was not always 853.6. But if there is somehow, if the system gets too many errors and it's seeing an issue with 853, it'll flip over to one of these other ones, and then eventually it'll flip back, or it can stay over to these others. It will never ever be in these black ones. The control channel is always either the red or the blue, and being that it says red, it's going to be the red one. You could technically get away with just putting the red one in there, but if they ever had an issue, then they would change control channels. You'd be dead in the water. You wouldn't be able to hear anything. They had this thing called rebanding several years ago. They changed all their frequencies from 860s to 850s, and I made a lot of money just by going to somebody's house. I memorized these 4 channels, and I don't know why my scanner don't work. I did it to my wife's mother. She's like, my scanner just one day it quit working. I was like, give it to me. And I just, without using my phone or any kind of cheat sheet, I was like, I'd done it so much. And she's like, oh, it's working now. I'm like, yeah, this thing called rebanding, Nextel was interfering with the 860 frequencies. So they moved all of the public safety over to 853. So this used to be 860.36. So they did literally just change it to 853.6. That's all they did. When they did rebanding, it was like 2011 or something like that. They did rebanding. Do you want to do it, or you want me to show you how to do it? Or?
And that concludes our TED Talk.